This week on Transit Unplugged, I'm with Coree Cuff Lonergan, the CEO of the Broward County Transit System down there near Fort Lauderdale, Florida, just north of Miami. I'm Paul Comfort, and on this episode, we recorded the podcast live in person and on the bus. Because, of course we did. We recorded the whole interview, multiple pieces of it, while we were riding the bus, going all over the county, working on filming an episode of our Transit Unplugged TV show, the companion piece, which will run in August. Broward County, the reason I wanted to go there is not just because Coree Cuff Lonergan is a good friend of mine and a great, tremendous leader, but they are involved in what I think is the largest capital program anywhere on the East Coast of the United States. One of the largest in the nation. They have a $4.3 billion transit expansion program called PREMO, and it is premium transit coming your way, 3 brand new modes. That's right. I don't know anybody adding 3 modes. They're adding commuter rail, then bus rapid transit, and then light rail. Amazing. It's part of a 15-year program. It's already underway. We go out and actually go to some of the sites where they'll be building. Coree also shared, while we were talking on the bus, how they're using AI to improve public engagement. And we talked about the rider experience. And she comes at the end of this podcast with a pretty amazing idea of how we could improve the customer experience on the bus and make it feel totally different. I think you're going to want to hear that. Big vision, real projects, and the energy to match. Coree Cuff Lonergan, man, she is all right in my book. She is rocking down there in Broward County. I can't wait for you to hear this interview on the bus with Coree Cuff Lonergan. Let's join. Excited to be in Broward County today with Coree Cuff Lonergan, the CEO, my good friend. Coree, thanks we're on your bus. This is awesome.
Yeah, we're so glad to have you here, Paul, you and your team, and we're going to show you a good time today, because Broward County is all about visitors and tourism, and we love having visitors here. We're so glad you're here with us.
Well, thanks. We were able to ride one of your express buses this morning right up from downtown Miami, $2.65 one way to come right in here to a great park and ride. I mean, it's a great connection you have just to start off, you know?
It is a good connection, and in fact, so many of our commuters use that daily, right? So if you can imagine traffic, been similar to other parts of the country, we are particularly traffic challenged and heavily congested in so much of our community and their major arterials. And I-95, which, you know, goes all the way up the coast to Maine, is one of those arterials that's heavily congested. So we provide a nonstop service from our Miramar Park and Ride lot to downtown Miami. So people who live in Broward County can work in Miami-Dade. They can take our system down to Miami-Dade. They can relax. They can sit back, enjoy the ride. They don't have the stresses of traffic or any of those challenges.
I saw the traffic coming up this morning.
Isn't it?
We were coming out. That was great. We were in the express lane.
Yep.
But the people coming in, I mean, it's a nightmare to them, I imagine.
It is bumper to bumper.
But you guys get in the express lane and then go right by them.
On by.
That's great, man. And so tell us where we were just at. You just showed me a cool facility.
So sure. So we were just at our Lauderhill Transit Center. And I got to tell you, that is our crown jewel of our system. We are so proud of that location. We have about 8,000 people that come through there on a daily basis, and we have 5 routes that come into there. And so basically, there are major routes. So from that central location, you can go all the way down to Miami, or you can go up into Palm Beach. But what's the best part about it, it's a relatively new facility, and in that facility is the first of its kind in the country to be named LEED Gold certified.
Wow.
And so we're so proud of that. And so we actually export energy from that facility.
I saw all the solar panels.
Solar panels, right? So we are net positive. We get what we need there, and then also contribute back to the grid. So that's a huge accomplishment, and it's so architecturally interesting too.
Yes.
It's got it as a building. It looks like it's almost moving with all the tiles.
Yeah. We're going to show it on our companion TV show. People get to see it. The other thing that I like seeing was you have break facilities there for your drivers.
Yep.
So if they're on a break, tell me about that.
Sure. Yeah. So, with any transit center, you want to make sure that you take care of your workforce. And that was an important consideration for us when that was under design, is that we had those accommodations for our operators who, are transferring or taking a break during their shift. And they can actually even start their shift there if necessary. But, there's lockers, there's a kitchenette, there's a refrigerator, there's vending machines. There's all kinds of stuff in there for people to relax and take a break from the day.
That's great. All right, we're getting ready to hop off the bus. You're going to show me a cricket stadium. Huh?
I'm going to show you a cricket stadium.
That's amazing, man.
We actually have one of those at Broward County.
That's great, yeah. And if you want to see it, you'll have to watch our companion show, Transit Unplugged TV from Broward. We'll be right back after this. All right, we're back on the bus with Coree Cuff Lonergan, CEO of Broward County Transit. Corey, that was an amazing cricket facility run by the county government.
Yeah, it is. And we're so pleased to be able to host World Cup events and be considered in one of the premier cricket stadiums in the entire country.
And you've served that with Transit,
and
right?
we serve that with Transit. And we, when we had the World Cup event, we actually had special service for that, just to accommodate all the people that were coming in to see the events.
That's amazing. So let's take a step back and tell me about your transit system. What do you got going here in Broward County?
So
it's located where we're at. We're just north of Miami, right?
We are north of Miami, and we are the second largest transit system in the state of Florida.
Oh, wow. Behind Miami?
Behind Miami.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And we're in the process of expanding, but right now what we have is a fixed route service as well as our paratransit's top service. And we have an annual operating capital budget of roughly about $500 million.
Okay.
We do have a workforce, about 1,300 people. And the majority of that obviously is our operations team, where we have our bus operators and mechanics. And they are the heart and soul of our system. They keep our buses running, our customers happy. We also have a very strong customer service frontline workforce that engages with our customers on a daily basis as well.
So Fort Lauderdale is your big city, right?
Fort Lauderdale is one of the 31 cities here in Broward County.
Okay.
And population-wise, it is one of the largest.
Total population of the county you're serving?
Our county is about 1.9 to 2 million. It fluctuates. Some days it's 2 million. Next day it's 1.9. It's a change. Yeah.
Wow. By the way, that's a big deal still here, right? Spring break.
We just hosted the spring break in Fort Lauderdale a couple weeks ago, and we were supporting the city with some of their evacuation activities in the city. And, whenever they need our help, we're there to help them.
So I knew you came here from Lamada with one goal in mind. What's that goal? What's your big thing you're doing here?
So the one thing that really made this job the right fit for me was the opportunity to build out our PREMO program. And when I started, it was in the planning stages and it was wrapping up and being finalized. We had identified 10 corridors that we wanted to put different types of service on, including light rail, commuter rail, bus rapid transit, and high frequency bus service. And so now I'm so excited because it is a $4.3 billion program. We were able to pull those early planning efforts together very shortly after my arrival, take it to our commission, and the commission unanimously voted to approve it, which was one of my major first accomplishments. I was so excited to be able to bring that.
Yeah, $4 billion project. Come on.
So since then, of those 10 projects, we had actively working 3 of them.
Okay.
And
what are they?
The commuter rail.
Okay. Where's that going to go?
That Broward commuter rail south is going from, eventually it goes from Miami-Dade all the way up to Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And Miami-Dade is taking care of the 5 stations within their county limits.
Okay.
And then we are adding on an additional 3 stations within Broward County. One will be located in the city of Hollywood, which you will see tomorrow. The second one will be located right at the airport, so it'll be very convenient for people that want to, use commuter rail. And then we're also going to have a station at Broward Health, which is south of Fort Lauderdale.
Okay. And quickly, what are the other 2 projects? You got
the Airport Seaport Convention Center, which is a light rail project that's going to connect those 3 major economic engines for Broward County. And we also have our Oakland Park BRT.
All right.
Plus rapid transit line.
Great. We'll talk more about that in just a minute. We're ready to hop off the bus and take another site here.
Hi, I'm Julie Gates, executive producer at Transit Unplugged. Thank you so much for listening. You may have noticed Transit Unplugged has a brand new logo and a refreshed look. After nearly a decade of telling Transit's greatest stories, we've made a number of upgrades to keep pace with the industry that's changing faster than ever. Whether you listen to Transit Unplugged podcast for executive conversations, watch Transit Unplugged TV for food, travel, and transit adventures, or get your headlines with the Transit Unplugged News Minute. We're committed to telling Transit's story in bigger and better ways. Stay tuned. There's even more coming later this year. Thanks for being on this journey with us.
So what do you like to do, like to recharge, Coree? When I know being a CEO is like a full-time job, night, day, weekends, but you got to have some time, right? What do you do to have fun, relax, recharge?
Yeah, so you're right. These jobs are intense and they are somewhat 24/7, right? But it is very important to balance the work with life. And one of the things that I love to do is cook. And prior to COVID, I didn't cook very well or very often. But then when we were all on lockdown, I started to pay attention to cooking, and I couldn't order anything. I couldn't eat out. And so I started cooking myself. I said, I can do that myself. And so I started watching a lot of cooking shows, and I bought gazillion cookbooks.
Oh, wow.
And I really started to up my game in the cooking department. What I didn't know, which is funny, is how bad I was doing with my family. Because I had no idea. So prior to that, when I would cook, it would always be some kind of excuse why we weren't going to eat or whatever. But then after I got my skills up, then everybody was running to the table and curious about what I was cooking. And that gave me an interest in seeing what else I could do with that. But it was so relaxing for me during that time, and it grounded me. And so now, even I'm very into it, and that's how I, kind of relax and calm down. I do recipe development, so I'm experimenting in the kitchen. I'm an engineer, so I have this natural interest in chemistry and how things work and why they work together. Yeah. But applying that in the food environment is just, unique and different, but still a lot of fun. And so I'm in the process of doing my recipe development. Eventually, at some point in time, I would hope to be able to write a cookbook, a compilation of my recipes, some of my family recipes as well.
Coree's cookbook.
Coree's cookbook. And so what I really enjoy, in fact, this weekend, I'm hosting a brunch, and I made these sweet rolls. And, people say, oh, I can't stand to cook, but I got to tell you, there's something, for me at least, with getting your hands dirty, getting into that dough, kneading that dough.
That's like therapeutic.
It's very therapeutic. I had no idea that that's how it worked, but it's very therapeutic for me. And then at the end, I get to create something. I get something I can create and share that people enjoy.
That's wonderful.
So that's what makes me happy.
Now, do you have any favorites that you make?
I do. So I love to bake. Okay. Before I could never bake. And so one of my favorite things to make is pumpkin bread. I love making pumpkin. It's delicious. And I make that especially during the holidays, obviously. Yeah. And there's a chicken skillet dish just with chicken thighs and potatoes, and you can cook them in the oven. It's real quick, easy dish, but it's delicious. It tastes kind of on the gourmet side. And I'm still experimenting. I'm doing French. I do American cuisine. I do soul food. I do Southern cooking, island cooking, all of it. I'm just in that very experimental time in my life, and loving it.
That's awesome. Okay. Coree, as we look forward to the future, what do you see for our industry?
Paul, I see our industry has a very bright future. I think that we are in a good space where we can look at ways to create efficiencies within our organizations, while at the same time looking for opportunities to grow and expand. I do think that from an innovation perspective, leaning into technology obviously is one of the things that we have to do. Leveraging AI to its fullest capability is something that we also need to embrace.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's big, right? I was at TRB back in the fall, and they actually did a segment on using AI for stakeholder engagement. And it was a fascinating seminar on that. So we're looking at how we can leverage, AI and Chat GPT to help us with our public engagement. It's still in the early stages of things, but it's something that we're definitely looking at, because particularly since we are doing a full-blown expansion here, with this with our PREMO program, we need to figure out ways to engage with the public beyond what we traditionally do. Obviously, we still have to do that in-person, face-to-face conversations. Those are very critical when you're doing major infrastructure investment projects. But now let's leverage all those other tools that we have out there for people who may not be able to show up for a meeting but still want to be part of the process. The last thing I wanted to also mention, and I think this is, where innovation also is important and where we can create significant efficiencies, is looking at how we warehouse our goods and keep our materials and our supplies. There is so much technology out there to do it better than what we do. And I'm looking at that for our Copen bus facility to see how we can implement a different warehousing system that allows us to be more efficient, while at the same time being able to create a very clean and easy to find material management environment. So that's
like
really
in the shop?
Like in the shop, yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I see is something that I see in the future. And I know that this is way out there, but
Okay.
I see it as a true opportunity for us, is to reimagine the experience on the bus.
Okay, like we're on right now.
What we're on right now,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So let's just say that you get on the bus and we were able to create a spotlight experience on the bus that either everybody's experiencing at the same time as a common experience, or you put your virtual reality glasses on and you're in your own world.
Wow.
So that's something I look forward to seeing if we can invest in something like that and bring that to reality here.
I love that outside the box thinking. Yeah, kind of reshaping what the experience is.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, in reimagining how we set up the interior of a bus.
Okay.
How do we move the masses while at the same time creating an environment that is soothing, inviting, interesting, productive, and safe.
I love that, Corey. I hope you're able to do that. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, this has been great. I love that we did this whole interview on a bus.
Oh, we did?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever done that before. Done a whole podcast on a bus. Yeah, you're a bus agency. Why not, right?
Why not, right?
For now.
For now.
But soon, rail to come, right?
Rail to come.
Yeah. What's the timeline, you think, for everything? I don't think we talked about that yet. Is it phased, like it's going to roll in like a waterfall?
It is definitely phased. It's phased for a myriad of reasons. Obviously,
yeah, you can't do everything at one time.
Can't do everything
Yeah.
at one time. We'd overtax the organization and we wouldn't be able to deliver. Also, we have to meet the market where it is. We need contractors and vendors to support us, and so we can't kind of pile on everything. But it is phased intentionally, so as the projects roll over, we are learning from one, implementing those lessons learned in the next one, and keeping it moving to the next one. And so the entire program is going to be delivered over about 15 years.
And what do you think is first coming online?
So the first one that's going to come online is our commuter rail project.
Oh, wow.
That's the first one.
Okay.
And then our bus rapid transit on Oakland Park Boulevard, where we were at.
We were just there,
We were just there. And then our light rail project, which will connect our Airport Seaport Convention Center, which is where we're going right now.
All right, that's great. Well, this is awesome. I know I've mentioned this. I think I've said it on the show, but I want to say it again as we close up. I don't know of any other agency doing this in America, adding 3 brand new modes of service, all of one program of projects. Amazing, Corey.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that. And we're so lucky that the voters in 2018 voted through a majority of voters said, yes, we want to improve mobility here in Broward County, and we support transit as that solution. And we have a 9-member commission that is also supporting that at the policy level. So we're really lucky to have the situation we have here.
That's wonderful. Well, South Florida is blossoming. You have so much stuff going on. You're so well coordinated with your neighboring jurisdictions and their transit services. And I love that you're integrated in with county government. That's where I got my start, and I love working in county government. I just wish you the best. You're the right person at the right time to be doing this.
Well, that means the world hearing that from you, Paul.
Thank you. Best of luck. We look forward to checking back in with you as you progress over the next decade.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Transit Unplugged podcast. We're so glad you're here. My name is Julie Gates. I'm the executive producer of the show, and our goal is to create programs that promote the great things going on in the transit industry by providing you with behind-the-scenes access with industry executive leadership so we can work together to find innovative industry solutions. We would love to have you be a part of the Transit Unplugged community by having you sign up for our newsletter. Head to the show notes to find the link. Thanks for listening to Transit Unplugged with Paul Comfort, our favorite transit evangelist. And we'll catch you next week. Thanks for tuning in.